Good morning. Captain Danny here at Massman Fishing. Got me something new. I'm going to install the new Dometic SeaStar Trim Tab system. Obviously by SeaStar. This has got that cool dial control, so make it a little bit easier for simple-minded people like myself. But let's go ahead and unbox this thing. This will be another Massman maintenance moment. Let's go. All right, let's see what's in this box. It's got the intuitive dial controller. This one says keep that on the boat. That's just that dial controller there. Shows you what all it does. It's got a lot of cool features on it that I like. It's got the home button and the save, your favorite. Here's the home button and all up and all down. Some directions here. What's in there? Product list. We'll throw that away. Just kidding. Directions. Your gasket for the controller. This is the best part right here. This is the controller. So this is what makes this so good. So instead of having buttons up and down, left and right, and all that good stuff, this one's got a dial. So you can actually dial this thing in. So basically, you hit your favorite, get it to where you want it, that you've already set. Then that thing's running level. And then if someone moves around, you just simply dial it over one way or another. Instead of mashing this one, trying to figure out which one's up too far and all that. Just makes it a whole lot easier. And I have a perfect place for it on the dash of my boat. So that's a good thing to have right there. Plenty of wires. It comes with the extension wires. This hooks it up where you can, when you turn the motor off, they'll all go up, which is good if you're in a dry storage or something like that. More wires. Here's the actuators here. Big heavy duty SeaStar actuators. They're electric, so no pumps or anything needed. All the hardware. And then of course the stainless steel trim tabs themselves, which is definitely a very thick, very solid trim tab. This one is the ST3103R, which that is 9 inches long. So these are 9 inches long this way, 12 inches across, which is going to fit my boat. They make a ton of different ones. And then these actuators are, oops, sorry about that. These actuators are 11.5 inches. They make one that's 10 inches. I needed the 11.5 inch. So do your homework. Make sure you get the right ones. And I will show you a clip right here of the sizes on the side of this box, because that was the hardest thing, was to order it. But here's the sizes. The part number STT3103R is the one that I got, which is the top one there. And then you can see all the ones down there. So all the different sizes. And remember the width and the length. So length is the first number when you're going to order, which is kind of backwards from what you would think. But, and then of course I made this cool little, yeah, I'll start putting that around everywhere. Massman Fishing. Please subscribe. Let's get this thing on. All right, I got everything laid out. So now I'm going to go ahead and measure up where these are going to go. I did put a little mounting bracket on here and on the trim tab because I'm going to set it up just to make sure I have the right spot for the actuator. So, all right, let's go ahead and measure the back of this thing and figure out how to mount it. Well, obviously, first thing we need to do is measure where these go. My boat actually has an indentation for them, which sounds great, but it has to line up with this indentation for the top, which it doesn't really. It may actually take some modification because the bracket's a little bit too wide, but I'll make it work. But you want a 1/4 inch off the bottom. So about a 1/4 inch off the bottom right here is what we're after. and then get it as level as you can. I've got a chine right here, so it's definitely going to be over that, but it's not going to make a difference because it's got a 2.5 inch adjustment. So that thing can, the actuator can push out 2.5 inches. So I mean, it'll really drop it down. So I use the tape here just because for some reason it makes me feel better drilling into it. I don't think it matters, but I've always done that. Anytime I drill through gel coat, I throw some tape on it. It's more for peace of mind for myself. But anyways, let's measure this thing up and get her on. My least favorite part of any boating work, drilling a hole. You want to use a 3/16 inch bit for this. It says drill like 1.25 inches deep, but of course there's nothing behind this, so. Oh, and then be sure you take your countersink. This is a 1/2 inch countersink, and just knock that edge off right there. So when you drill, or when you put your screw in, it doesn't knock that gel coat out, because nobody wants to knock the gel coat out. One trick I will tell you about, when really the impact is not what you want to use. You want to use a regular drill, but one thing I do know with the gel coat and the fiberglass, putting a good bit of pressure pushing in will definitely help you out a lot. It keeps it from trying to pull that fiberglass out. It'll actually force it through. So now I got the 2 on here. I'm going to mark these other holes, drill them out, and get ready to mount this thing. And then I'll do the same to the other side. So, well, that's it right there. That's what I want right there. Let's do it. So next up, I need to figure out where I want this actuator. So I need a straight edge, so I rigged up some junk. So I got a little piece underneath there. If you got 2 people, it'd be easy. But we want a 1/2 inch gap here. So you want to level off the bottom and then raise it up a 1/2 inch, and that's where you're going to want your actuator to go. So I'm just going to measure this. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise it up. Let's see. And bam, I hit it right off the, hit myself in the head with it. All right, there we go, a 1/2 inch. That's got, so we are in a weird spot here, but I actually think that will work out just fine. Yep, that's gonna work out perfect. So I'm gonna mark this. I would tape it, but there's so many angles right there. I can't tape it. Did I get it? I don't know if I can get this one. No. I'm gonna drill my holes here, and that's where my actuator is gonna be. Boom, perfect. I like it. And that's the same 3/16 drill bit. These are all they made them all the same size screws. And real quick, you can see that this is my ladder bracket. The reason why I had to go with the 9-inch is because of the ladder. The ladder would hit it. I mean, it will probably touch the 9-inch bracket. So, but it worked out perfect. So that's going to work out. Boom. Alrighty, I'm going to take this off. Okay, I can take it off. Oops. So now I have to drill a hole. I have to drill a hole in the middle there for the wire to pass through. So I'll shoot a screw in here and mark this, and then I'll drill that hole. All right, the hole for the wire for the actuator is a 3/8 inch bit. I don't want to do that. All right, or just mark it. Never mind. All right, I've marked the hole for the actuator wire. Use a 3/8 inch hole for this one. All right, I'll get the other side going and we'll get ready to glue this thing on. All right, now time for the fun part. We're using this 3M 5200, which is all you ever want to use. This, I got gloves on because you're gonna wear it every time. There's no way, I don't make the rules, but if you open this, you're gonna get it on you. Just how it works. All right, I'm gonna shoot a little bit in the holes, and then I'm gonna put some around the metal on the actual trim tab. And this stuff, don't be taking it out in the water right away. This stuff takes forever to cure. I think it's like 70 something hours, so it's like 3 or 4 days. But you want to make sure that you are not on the water. All right. Now this stuff stays pliable, but you want to go ahead and wipe off whatever excess you can. And if you can get to the inside, which here I cannot, if you can get to the inside, it's always a good idea to put a little dab on the inside of the screws. Unfortunately, I cannot access that on this boat. Alright, well I fished the wire through, and it comes with this little stopper here, little gasket, and the back back plate, so it'll kind of smush in there and seal that off. So I'll pull this in here. I'm gonna 5200 this real good, and because it's such an uneven surface, I will have to we'll call it goop it. I have to goop it because it's going to take more to fill this little void on this side. So no big deal there. That stuff, we'll seal it off just fine, and it'll work great. So all right, I'll throw this in there. So now I'll clean this up and then do the other side. Alright, well I got them installed. One thing though, they sent me, that plate is right. I haven't tightened everything up yet. This one, on the other hand, is wrong. So I'm gonna have to go back to the manufacturer. This one is wider, as is that one. So they sent me 3 of one and 1 of the other. So I have to go to the manufacturer and order it, but I don't think it'll stop me from using it for right now, but I don't want to leave it that way. So all right, we're gonna move on into the boat and get to wiring. All right, so the directions are a little lacking, but so I had to figure this out. They came with this little connector. It's obviously because this can't pass through. This goes straight to the this goes to the actuator. So one is your red wire, and they're marked right there with a 1 and a 2. So 1 is your hot and 2 is your ground. Push them all the way in, and then you have this little director plate that will just clip right in there, and these are going to make your waterproof connection with your, basically your extension wire. And they don't say port or starboard on them, so I'll mark it when I pull it through. And then I'll just pull these through to the helm and finish wiring everything up. Well, I've run the wires into the center console. I hooked it into my breaker panel. And now I gotta figure out where to put this. And I think I'm gonna move my power pole button and just put it right there, and then I can move that power pole button probably over here or something, but that's not a big deal because I really don't use it. I just use the one around my neck. But all right, I hate to do that because this is, I don't know if you can even see it, it says Masked Man Edition. This is a custom made dash. I made it. It was not easy, so I'm not looking forward to drilling a big old hole in it, but let's do it. Oh boy, oh, here we go. It's a mess. Put us on there. Alright, hopefully this thing fits. Oh yeah. One thing that I did not account for is there's a little notch on the top of this thing, so it'll sit in there vertical. So we got a little file here. I've filed out just a little piece, that way when it goes in there it's not gonna twist. I need to go a little bigger than that, but anyways, I'll file that out a little bit more, and then I stick this thing in there. Alright, now the gasket goes over it. It's got a little slice in it too, and then this gasket goes on the inside, and then the locking nut on the inside. And that says to hand tighten. No tools. It's probably good for me because I break stuff. Alright, we'll just make the connections on the back of it. And this thing will be ready to rock and roll. Aside from dressing up all the wires all over the place. Okay, there's one. That's the power. Oh, one thing I did fail to mention. I turn off all the power, unhook the battery, the whole 9 yards. So before you do anything electrical, be sure to turn unhook the battery completely, starting with the negative. Okay, this one I marked. This is the port. Port will go on the top slot. Let's see. Wheel up. Ooh. There we go. Port goes on the top. And then starboard goes on the bottom. And then, alright, well, it's the next day. I did run into some problems. So, the directions are a little bit confusing because it says it's optional. It is not optional. The purple wire has to go in here. Here we go. Your purple wire is your wake up wire. That wire right there has got to be on there, and you want to hook it to your ignition. You can put a switch on it, but you really want to hook it to your ignition. I have a Suzuki DF250SS. It's a newer motor, so I knew I could just look up what wire it is, and so I wired it right here into this, which is a gray wire. And that is my accessory wire, which is only on with the key. So, and there's the purple wire. So when I turn the key on, the accessory gets power and it wakes up the controller. And so that's the weird thing about this. The other thing I can tell you is these back connectors that push in, which come off of the actuators. Those, you need to make sure those wires push all the way up to that little orange piece, which is, I took a phone call for me to figure that out. So, but anyways, all right, I'm gonna put this thing back together and I got the dash all taken apart. So I'm gonna put this thing back together, show you how it works. I'll get my daughter Anastasia out here and she'll work the controls. I'll show you how it works. So be back 1 second. All right, so now when I power this thing up, I turn the key, I'll turn it on. It raises them, or make sure they're raised. It cycles through, and now it's ready to go. So this is a very simple controller. So if I want the bow down, I just hold this button, and it shows you where they're at. Bow up, same thing, shows you where they're at. And let's say I want to do, that's my favorite. So that's my favorite spot right there. Or actually, well, that's my favorite spot. So I'll hold this 3 seconds. Boop, it beeps. Now, when I want to go back to that, I just hit the favorite. I want to go home, which is bringing them all back up. I just hit the home button. They'll all automatically go back up. I want to go back to my favorite. Hit that. They go right back to my favorite. Say I got people walking around the boat. I got people on the starboard side getting a little, just hanging out over there, and I want to make the boat turn to the left. I just simply, it drops that one down and moves the boat over. So very simple. It's fast. Now go back home. Boom. And then when I turn the key off, it just goes into dormant mode, and that's it. So it's a very simple system. I'll get Anastasia up here so you can kind of see what the trim tabs do. And tomorrow we're gonna take it for a ride. I got a charter in the morning, so we're gonna do this real quick, and then I'll take that charter tomorrow and give it a good test run. So let me get her out here and I'll show you what the tabs do. Let's see, I got the sun in my eyes. All right, I got Anastasia on the boat. Say hi, Anastasia. She's gonna operate the controls, and let's see if I can get where you can see these. Let's see. Here we go. Let's do this. All right, you can see them both there. All right, Anastasia, go bow down. Keep going. Hold the button. So bow down. That's gonna push these trim tabs down where your bow of your boat is gonna go down. All right, go turn it to the left. That's gonna raise one, and so we're going to the port side. It's gonna raise the port side and lower the starboard side, which is gonna bring that boat down to the left. Okay, go bow down. No, bow down, the top button. Keep going, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Okay, so that's all the way down. That's gonna help you get onto a plane. And then go ahead and hit the home button. And that's gonna bring both trim tabs all the way up. So you can put it on the trailer, which I don't need to do that on this one, but you can put it on the trailer, or you can, if say it's in a dry storage, and the forklift comes and gets it, it doesn't tear them off, which is always good. So, all in all, I'm super pumped about these. I can't wait to use them. Tomorrow, we're gonna do a little test run. So, next stop, on the water. All right, just like that, I'm on the water. So, come here in St. Mark's. It's working great. Did a charter, so I got to use it a bunch. I'm very happy with it. So we're gonna do a whole shot right here. I'm gonna do a little bit of kind of show you how this thing works. First thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna drop the trim tabs all the way down, the motor all the way down. I'm gonna do a whole shot and see how fast it gets on a plane. All right, motor's all the way down, trim tabs all the way down, and we've got the lights here which show us exactly how far down they are. And now we're just gonna just gonna hammer it, and we're gonna see how quick it gets on a plane. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. So now you can see the nose of the boat is buried. So I've already set my favorite. So now I can hit the favorite and it's gonna bring it up instantly. Bam. Now I'm only going 32 miles an hour. So I can actually trim the nose up a little bit more. Now here you can actually see how it works going into the waves. It is like butter now. And then I can trim the motor up to where I got some slop in it, so it's nice and easy. No strain on the motor. And now if I wanted to tilt it to the left, all I do is turn it, and you can see the boat tilt to the left. Turn it to the right, boat tilts to the right. Back to my favorite. Bam. All right, now I'm gonna take them all the way off. We're gonna go to home. And the boat is starting to do a little bit of wobbling. Not a whole lot because it's flat calm. There it goes. So you can see how this thing's starting to do this, which was what my issue was. I was having to adjust it all the time. So now all I gotta do is just nose down just a hair. And I mean, it is instant. Just bam, like it's on rails. So super happy with this. Some other benefits, if you have a sea that's coming off to the side, starboard side, you can actually tilt the boat. That way you knock that spray out. So the spray's not getting, you're not getting all your clients wet or yourself wet or anything. So that's awesome. You can make it cut through waves better. So you can, you got waves coming from one side or another, you can actually turn the boat or tilt the boat where you're catching those waves better and it's a smoother ride. Nose down if you want, you got following seas, nose up, so much more control. And it's very simple because it's got that controller, that intuitive controller. So super happy with it. Thank you for watching. This has been another Masked Man maintenance moment. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. Subscribing's free, helps me out a lot. So I do appreciate it. And follow for more. Thanks for watching. Masked Man out.